night out. Done.
I'm SASA and you're watching The SASA Show, brought to you by my stinky deodorant. Baby Powder Fresh. I love it when I smell like a baby who just took a shit. Or the underside of a fat chick's side boob. So when a lady has way too much back fat that it comes through the side, they're all fat. All fat. Flops over her bra strap and it's like an extra boob in her armpit. Baby Powder Fresh. You know, conspiracy theorists claim that organized sports was designed to keep the average male passive. Well, I was watching TV last night and I beg to differ. Yeah, passive aggressive. But that's going to be very tempting now the next time I have a bad day at my shitty customer service job. I shouldn't complain though, it's not that bad. According to jobsrated.com, the top 5 worst jobs in America are: number 5, welder. Number 4, dairy farmer. Number 3, iron worker. 2, lumberjack. Dun, 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 dun. Number 1, a rustabout. A rustabout is an oil rig pipeline worker for hire, basically. I was very shocked to see this. These are the jobs that help build America. Those may be bad jobs. I do think I've had some pretty bad jobs in the past, though. I did work at the dollar store once where everything's $1, including your hourly wage. But the worst job I ever had was back in Hollywood, California, as a plumber. Plumber for the stars.
Hey, big castles and these tassels take her quick, like assholes that orally defecate, talking shit.
Stall for a plumber?
Yeah, bathroom's over there.
Oh, fuck. I think I found the problem. Yes, sir, Mr. Lucas. May I call you George? Uncle George? We should have flushed this once before we did that. We should have flushed before we did this bit. Oh, Mr. Federline! I'm not really a plumber. I just play one on TV. Protest demonstration. Calling all revolutionaries. Your rights are being threatened. If certain people in the record industry had their way, you wouldn't be able to read this comic book. Demonstration. Let's go. It's on Friday, March 22nd, 1991 at 1 p.m.
This is Todd Loren. Welcome to reality.
Todd Loren started rock and roll comics in the 80s. The first issue was a black and white, crudely drawn comic about Guns N' Roses.
Todd Loren, First Amendment advocate or lying sack of shit.
Guns N' Roses and New Kids on the Block have taken legal action to block revolutionaries' comic book bios.
June 18th, 1992, Todd was found in his condo dead. He had been stabbed repeatedly. The investigation went nowhere, and to this day remains unsolved. Todd Loren was gay.
Had he not been murdered, he probably could have been one of the great men of the 21st century.
You may be wondering why I'm dressed like this. It's to commemorate the neoconservatism of the early 90s. So I'm going to review today Rock and Roll Comics, Public Enemy, and Two Live Crew. This comic was pretty awesome. The first story is about Public Enemy's rise to fame and how its anti-racist messages were always contradicted by Professor Griff's blatant public racism. The dialogue is pretty funny though, especially because all the black lingo and slang was obviously written by a gay white guy. They even say the N-word with an E-R at the end. I think he knew the rules on that one. It's Black History Month. Two Live Crew story is actually very political. It's one of the only publishings I've ever seen that actually speaks on behalf of the censored artist. I never realized how much political strife Two Live Crew had to go through. Why, you may ask? Two Live Crew and this comic were at the height of its popularity in the early 90s. That's when Bush Sr. was in office, and everyone still believed in that good old Reagan conservatism. My favorite story is in the back of this book. It's called The New Censorship. The story is of a bored alcoholic Tipper Gore and her shenanigans that led to the PMRC. This story establishes that Tipper Gore and Susan Baker are evil. The lead singer of Dead Kennedys, Jello, he was actually prosecuted for distribution of harmful matter. Did you know that after testifying before Congress, John Denver was actually dropped from RCA? Why didn't the record companies defend these artists? I'll tell you why. They were too busy lobbying for tape taxes. Remember when a CD used to cost almost $30? When you bought that shit, you financed this. That's why I say pirate! Well, that was the show for this week. Thanks for watching. Check out thefreshpress.net and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.